I've got the first section of floor installed, and since the original front section of floor was in good enough condition to use as a template, that meant I had, also been able to pre-drill all the holes in the existing locations. Now, they weren't exactly perfect. I did have to oval out a couple of the holes in the wood to line up with the holes in the aluminum, but that's okay since the head of these rivets does cover all that up. Now, since I did add all these cross braces under the floor, that meant I'm also going to add extra holes and rivets. And that's just basically these two here and these two back here. And as you can see there, I drilled those holes 6 inches outside of center for both of them. Then I reinstalled this little flange here that was underneath the seam originally. And once I did that, I took the stick ruler and just laid it down the center line of the hull so that I could get a measurement for each one of the cross braces to make sure that I do drill the holes in them, in the center of the brace, and don't end up drilling like off to the side or something, and then have to drill another hole and patch up a hole and all that stuff. So like here, just 4 1/4, 14 inches, and so on. Now, on the outsides, since for these two rear sections of floor, I was not able to pre-drill any of the holes, I run the risk of accidentally drilling like real close to the existing hole and end up ovaling that out where it won't hold a rivet. So to avoid that, I'm just going to measure from the edge of the boat in a little bit. I'm going to try to drill my hole about a 1/2 inch from it, on all of them, all the way down. That way I can avoid end up ovaling this out and having rivets come loose or something. But worst case, if I do get into one of those, I'll move it a little further, since all of these from here back will be covered up by the side panels. It won't be obvious if I've drilled a hole in the wrong spot. Now, on the front of the boat, you can probably see I've already painted the inside of the boat with the smoke gray Rust-Oleum. And I've also installed that new vent hose where the original one was that went underneath the floor. Next, I'm going to install the center section and rear section of floor, and then we'll go ahead and get those cleaned up and coat it with the Rust-Oleum deck and concrete restore. It should only take 2 coats of that stuff to get a nice texture and seal the floor up. Then I can install the new side panels that I've cut out. I also have to paint the back sides of those with the smoke gray. Well, it doesn't really matter which I use, the white or the smoke gray Rust-Oleum. Just seal up the back basically, and then I'll coat the outside of them with that deck and concrete restore also. So let's get back to work on installing the next 2 sections of floor. Now that the floor is installed, I've just got to take care of one last thing before I can apply the Rust-Oleum deck coating. And that's the issue with these cutouts where I had to notch the floor for each one of the ribs. Since I'm only planning on using carpet up under the bow area forward of the footrest, that's just to keep any gear from sliding or rattling, that means that 3 of the cutouts will be exposed on each side, and these 3 are ones where the opening in the top of each rib has the chance of getting debris and stuff in it, and I'm worried about that clogging up the passages where water is supposed to be able to travel under each rib. So my plan is to cut some aluminum screening, fold it over to double it up, and then install it between the wood floor and the aluminum hull. Now that that's finished, we have lightly sanded the floor and are about to apply the first coat of the Rust-Oleum deck coating. The first coat is complete. I'm very happy with the results, but unfortunately the product does not go as far as I hoped it would, which is not a bad thing because it does go on thick. I had only purchased 2 gallons thinking that that would be enough to do the first and second coat, but I used up almost both gallons just doing the first coat. So we had to go buy 2 more gallons. And now that the first coat is dry, it's time for the second coat. The second coat is on, and it looks great. I'm very happy with how this Rust-Oleum Deck and Concrete Restore coating turned out. I know it's not intended to be used in boats, but it worked great in here. I'll do a durability test, little review videos and stuff over time. But I also used it on the side panels for the interior. I've got them laying on a set of sawhorses right now, since you have to apply this on a flat surface, I guess because it takes such a long time for it to cure. It would run or glob up pretty good. So I've just got to let all this cure for a few days, then I can get back to work putting the interior back together and finally get back in the boat. And I guess we'll go ahead and get that transom installed next. It's been ready for a while. So that's it for this video. Thanks for watching.